The one thing he hates, Saban and Belichick, during the documentary they did, agreed the one thing they hated was when coaches left and poached their staff. It drove them nuts. If Josh McDaniels leaves, Brian Flores leaves, Joe Judge leaves, they all poach. Belichick maybe just getting to a point where, like, I'm done. I don't feel it's exhausting. And so I'm just throwing it. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Right, no, not a theory.
But it is interesting. What would Bob Kraft be left with today? They don't have a playmaker. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a top assistant. They've all left. He wouldn't have Belichick. He'd have Belichick's kids who would leave with Bill and go golf in Jupiter. I'm just saying. It's
like a hypothesis. A hypothesis comes before a theory, right?
Yeah.
Theories when it's tested.
I like that.
Yeah. So it's a hypothesis.
That's a new segment on the show. Colin's hypothesis. It
doesn't really roll off the tongue as well. I'm taking that master class, so I'm learning how to talk science. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I think we're both in a mood today.
Oh, I'm definitely in a mood.
I'm in a mood today.
I got a good night's sleep.
Same here.
Yeah.
So Ann leaves. When Ann leaves, I'm good for about a day and a half. And then
you just start leaving cupboard doors open.
And then the dogs
coasters.
and I, we party like there's no tomorrow. The dogs and I do for about a day and a half. And then the next day, I woke up this morning, I was sad, and the dogs looked at me and they're like, where's Mom? Where's the grown-up?
Well, because you had nachos for breakfast for 2 days in a row.
It's so fun.
No life.
A diet 50, but it's fun. So, listen, the Texans they got issues. Deshaun Watson reportedly, top 5 quarterback or whatever's in the league, he wants out. And so if I'm the Jets, I said I would just go for it. You got 5 first-round picks next 3 years because of the Jamal Adams trade. I'd give 4 up. I'd probably try to keep 1. I'd give you 4, and I'd do it. And it really does work. But, it's funny that, and it's taken a long time. The NBA has finally figured it out. First-round picks don't mean anything. Anthony Davis Laker deal don't mean anything. New Orleans isn't winning. The Lakers are winning titles. They don't mean anything. Now, in the NFL, they mean more than the NBA because in the NBA, your first-round pick is a 19-year-old who's played briefly at Dayton. And so he's going to take 5 or 6 years, even if he's a terrific young player, to kind of become a man in the NBA, get used to the travel, the physicality of the NBA. Football players come out after 3 or 4 years of college, and they can make an immediate impact. But the reality is there's no first-round player in this year's draft outside of Trevor Lawrence that's going to be as productive as Deshaun Watson for the first couple of years. He's probably the only one, and he's a generational talent. But think about this. Think about what giving up first-round picks. It sounds scary, but it's not. Chicago gave up 2 first-rounders for Khalil Mack. They've made the playoffs twice. Raiders, who got the picks, have yet to make the playoffs. The L.A. Rams gave up 2 first-rounders for Jalen Ramsey. They made the playoffs and won a playoff game. They made the playoffs and won a playoff game. Jags, the worst team in the league. Even Seattle, they made the playoffs again. They got Jamal Adams, who absolutely helped them make the playoffs. Lakers, Anthony Davis. Folks, the best, if you were the Jets, you have the number 2 pick in the draft. The best you could hope for is that Justin Fields becomes Deshaun Watson. You take that bet this morning. So just go get Deshaun Watson. If you said, yeah, Justin Fields, how good is he going to be? Deshaun Watson, good. Didn't I hear this morning? Deshaun Watson now, what is his completion percentage? I think it's currently it's an absurd number, like highest. That's his career playoff percentage. His career completion percentage is 68%. That's with the athleticism. It's the highest all time. That's with the athleticism. You get him running around. Oh, yeah, he completes 68% of his throws. That's what Breeze does without the athleticism and deep ball. So, to me, if he wants out, engineer the trade. Go get 3 or 4 first-round picks if you're Houston. Jets get a star. And by the way, Houston can say, give us Darnold and the number 2 pick. We'll draft Justin Fields. We'll put him in camp. We'll see who wins the job. We'll trade the next guy. By the way, Joy said this earlier. So, do we have the Bruce Arians sound? We have a Bruce Arians quote. He was talking about this win this past weekend. Here's the quote, Bruce Arians. He says, Tom's the consummate leader, been all year. Air of confidence permeates through the team. I allow him to be himself. I allow him to be himself. Like New England didn't allow him to coach. I allow him to coach. I just sit back sometimes and watch. I'm going to defend Belichick on this one. There's a reason Tom can, coach and stuff. He learned how to do that in New England from the world's best coach. Listen, Tampa was a really easy thing to describe. The first year, Bruce Arian culture went 7-9 in Tampa. This year, Bruce Arians culture was about 500 through October. And then New England became Tom Brady's culture. And they got really hot and won 7 of their last 8 games. The Bruce Arians culture last year was 7-9, bad special teams, and mistake-filled. I mean, most picks ever. And the beginning of this year, Tampa Bay was Bruce Arians' culture and Tom fitting into it. And then Tom, about week 9 and 10, said, I'm tired of this blank. It's going to be my culture. And, then they got really good. That is not a shot at Bruce Arians. But the story in Tampa is Tom changing the culture to the Tom culture from the Bruce culture. Trent Dilfer talked yesterday about Brady, the game, the persona, everything about him.
I can't think of a ball he forced. When he missed away from the defense. His misses were really good. He wasn't forcing the issue. He played the long game. He never panicked. And obviously he got some great help from a defense that played phenomenal and got the ball back for him. He's going to take what the defense gave him. And I thought he was, what were they, 1 for 5 on vertical attempts? But again, the misses were educated misses. So he played like a champion in a tough game.
Yeah, when we go back to look at Brady, and it's interesting, we are very quick to anoint Aaron Rodgers as a potential GOAT because he's so gifted. We're very quick, after one Super Bowl, to put Patrick Mahomes in the top 10 quarterbacks ever. Is people who judge quarterbacks never consider stuff beyond the talent. But the truth is, Joe Montana was not the most talented quarterback in the NFL. Breeze isn't, Brady isn't. The reality is Favre was, but made a ton of mistakes, harder to coach. Aaron is perhaps harder to coach. Some would argue underachieved, bit prickly and aloof. The reality is Brady is the rare all-timer that still is a little underloved. This kind of confirms. I really think when he left, I would listen to sports talk radio. Half the callers, it's a system. He's not going to do anything without Belichick. We never said that about other stars in other sports. Brady left New England, and half the sports fans in America, you could listen to any sports talk radio channel in the country, 50-50, he'll disappear. 13-5. We've never really understood the gravitas, the intellect, the pre-snap, the leadership. They're winning now because they've shifted to the Tom Brady culture from the Bruce Arians culture. Jay Glazer, we got stories breaking every 15 minutes now. Deshaun Watson, Eagles looking for a coach. Lately, doing more driving these days. Listen, you can't go out in California. You can't really do much, right? You can go to the beach. A lot of people on the beach this weekend. It was warm this weekend. Beaches were packed. So for us in California, maybe windshield wipers are not as vital as they are for many of you. Over the next 8 to 9, 10 weeks, it's bad weather in America. January, February, early March. That's where Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades come in handy. Crafted with advanced quad tech. That's silicone, 4 layers of coated silicone. Its job is to repel water, snow, sleet, and ice. That's why they last 2 times longer than other blades. They tested them on a 16,000-mile drive, Alaska to Argentina. No response. Harassed her and then sent stuff that shouldn't be sent to anybody, except maybe your husband or wife.
Well, yeah. I mean, unsolicited, explicit pictures from strangers have literally never been a good idea. Like, I don't know one woman that's like, yes, finally, what I've been waiting for.
He is an idiot. And by the way, men do better.
Yeah.
Do
I mean,
better.
maybe after the fifth text, you probably.